This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we're going to check out a competitive KRENKO deck. Yeah. Oh look, it's a deck full of red burn spells, creatures, and Embercleave, but there's a little more to it than that. It's kind of a different take that's been popping up here and there on the ladder, and I believe the list was first noticed in an MTGO event, and it does feature KRENKO, the Tin Street Kingpin, and it also features a whole bunch of pump spells instead of burn spells. So this can be really helpful if you just want to attack through your opponent instead of removing their stuff and trying to go around them. You have Barge In, which is +2/+2, and Trample for each non-human creature. Don't forget how that works. Do I have any humans? Yes, I do. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I made the mistake before of thinking I was giving Trample, and your Fervent Champion is not a human. Infuriate is +2/+2. Math. Infuriate is +3/+2 until end of turn. Sprint is +2/+1, and Scry and Haste, which is totally sweet in this deck. Rimrock Knight is +2/+0, and then you throw an Embercleave and you get it. So Embercleave has, it's such a monster, and it really felt like you had to play it with larger creatures to get the payoff, because if you put it on a 1/1, it's not very exciting. Well, with this deck, you put it on a 1/1 and you make the 1/1 exciting. Aside from that, we've got Bone Crusher Giant, can hit face and make creature, Runaway Steamkin, which is always a key card in your red aggro deck. Then we have Grim Initiate and Scorch Spitter hanging out, and the Grim Initiate here might look weird, but you really do need a body, and the first strike makes all of the pump spells better. So the Grim Initiate makes the cut even without Cavalcade of Calamity. 19 lands, 4 Castle Embereth, 15 Mountain. Boom, baby, let's go. The real story behind the deck, of course, is that I need to go to the dentist. I don't have that much time to record today. So let's get in and let KRENKO's nonsense begin. Oh, and very quickly, let me say, also a sideboard included for those of you who want to play best of 3. 4 red cap melees, 4 shield breath M-breakers, 4 fries. Pretty self-explanatory. Are they playing red? Melee. Are they playing blue and white? Fry. Are they playing artifacts? Shield breaker. Are they playing small creatures as well? Kind of like a mirror match or little green stuff. Shock 'em. The end. GLHFGG. Let's go. Alpaca is ranked number 811, and that will be our first opponent for the video. And okay, we do need to draw a few creatures, but obviously the plan is intact. Here's the Spitta. Tap land. Tap land. Go ahead, scry with your temple. Yes. The Sprint. Okay. It's a creature. I can't be too picky about that. We do need creatures to play the Embercleave. Got him to 14 on turn 2. Yeah. Is that what red mages do? Oh no! Heals? That should be cheating. Alright, we'll play you and we'll say go so we get to Embercleave next turn for sure. If we get Clarioned, GG. Why did we play this game? It's a tap land though. So the opponent does not play the Clarion, and they can't play Justice Strike because they have the bacon. So what are they holding? I guess they're just holding the ability to use the Fae of Wishes. Alright everybody, into the swimming pool. Whatever you block, I think that's where the Embercleave goes, so that we trample through and over this Fae of Wishes. We could also go for damage. I mean, we're the red deck, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put our opponent at 6. Be down a Spitter for next turn, because this is a damage for next turn. Yeah, I think better to... This is tough. Freaking red decks, right? They might have Aether Gust. That is a 2-mana play that could get us. And if they have that, we'd rather put the Embercleave on the Scorch Spitter, but they'll probably gust the Embercleave, not the creature. Let's see. Alright. Well, all of those things happened. Now the opponent plays fires and hopefully a creature or a planeswalker, and then we trample them some more. Barge in with Embercleave. A lot of damage. There's fires. What else you got? That's game. That is game. Oh my god. That is not... That is the sad place for fires. This is where you overkilling your opponent isn't just required. It isn't just PM. It's absolutely necessary. It's absolutely a #1 red mage requirement. Kodak is ranked 645 coming in. Let's see what we can do to them. 2 Castle Embreths. I've been questioning if you really want 2 Castle... Like, do you really need 4 Castle Embreths in this deck? Because hands like this... I fear hands like this. Very much. Tap land is probably not playable. And it seems like an automatic mulligan. So this hand is fine. What are we sending back? I think we want you... I guess we're sending back a Grim Initiate as the lowest powered card in this particular hand. On the draw, maybe Scorch Spitter isn't as good. Yeah, I think on the draw, Scorch Spitter is not nearly as good. It's kind of hard to get the free attacks with it that you get on the play. And you just gotta start the clock. Their Fabled Passage, what will it find? It will find a swamp. There is no escape from Fabled Passage animation. Esper? Dibblefib. I've become the thing I hate the most. What do you say, Mr. Lost? Wow. If you block there... So I shouldn't have played the Steamkin first, but because the opponent probably wouldn't have blocked, so they can block Steamkin next turn, but maybe they have another Fib. Or they just main deck Devout Decree because they're so hateful that they played Devout Decree in best of 1. Well, there you go, everybody. Welcome to the arena, where people do the weirdest stuff. Hey, there's a lot of cards. Play them if you want to. Guard Mage. It's a problem. Won't stop me from getting busy. Where's your blocks? Right there? Yeah? Okay. So, we can go Boulder Rush and pump the Steamkin. And we can go Boulder Rush, pump the Steamkin, still smack our opponent for 5, and take out their elite guard mage, as opposed to pumping the Steamkin, which wouldn't get as much damage through to the opponent's face. I also like using the boulder rushes so the opponent can't instant speed kill my creature in response while they're tapped out, so I have these in adventure later. Of course our opponent has a Tyrant Scorn. I know this deck, I know what it does, it plays removal spells. Fervent Champion, get busy. Alright, we can play the Rimrock Knight, which the champion can pump. We can also play 2 Grim Initiates, which are better against a Wrath. What is the opponent actually about to do? They seem like a time wipe deck based on these creatures, and on the fact that they're using Scorn. I think we'll play out the Initiates. That way we have a board presence. Even if the opponent blows this up, we have a 2/2 zombie to keep the damage coming. That's rude. So what's less important? I think the Barge In's the least important since the Infuriate can trade with the Bellhaunt. And what do we draw? A Steamkin. Steamkin we cannot play with the Infuriate. We could play the Steamkin and hold the Infuriate for the next turn, but then we're not pushing any damage. And I think pushing damage is what we do here. So, awkward turn. Not great. But I don't think we can let the opponent sit around with this Bellhaunt. They probably have ways to flicker it or reuse it in some manner. Hopefully it's not Command the Dreadhorde. As we have not done enough damage to our opponent, and they're looking in our graveyard. That is a bad sign. A very, very, very bad sign. And yeah, I have an Esper Command the Dreadhorde deck. This opponent looks like they got it from the same book. And they're going to go back up to 10, gain a ton of value, and basically that is a nail in the coffin, I think. Sprint off the top. I don't have good attacks, really. I can keep charging in, but I think now I just have to go wide and find Embercleave. And if the opponent drew anything relevant, that strategy is not going to work, because they're probably going to play something powerful to close the game. And yeah. Yep. Basically no chance here. Main phase Tyrant Scorn. I don't see a reason for that other than overconfidence. If I do draw an Embercleave, that's something in my favor. Although now I guess I can't. I'd have to have land Embercleave, but it's not unreasonable. Alright. I've seen enough. I can't be too mad at an Esper deck for winning. Will I be on the play this game? Serja, rank number 825. I go first. I only have one land. And I have the KRENKO and the Cleave. Why not? Let's lose gloriously from a one land position as quickly as we can. Anytime. Lead on Spitter unless you have double champion. If you have double champion too, lead on Spitter. If you got two lands. Just play the darn Spitters. Land off the top or bust. Yep, perfect start. As usual. Gruul always has it. Whatever it is, Gruul has it. Now do they attack? Nope. Pretty smart. So we drew the land. This is Fervent Champion time and attack time. Try to go over and through the Pelt Collector and the Paradise Druid. Because if you are not first, you're last in red deck land. Opponent blocking Fervent Champion would be the best for us. It would mean we can save the Infuriate and use the Knight, but that's not how the opponent does things. Alright, we're a land away from Embercleave or KRENKO. Our opponent is a land away from Questing Beast. And yeah, that card's not beatable. This card can't lose. It just can't lose. It's easily the best creature ever, I think. And now what? As you see, we've got nothing. We just have to build up our forces. I guess I'll play out the Rimrock. No, Rimrock Knight can help the Embercleaved creature, especially if we draw a land. So we say go. Next turn we have enough creatures to attack with for the Embercleave. If we draw a land, we can Rimrock Knight the Embercleaved creature and deal a ton of damage. Our opponent might Embercleave us this turn. Or not. Can't block it even if I wanted to, because the card really needed that text line. You know, you could probably name about five lines of text on this card that it didn't need, And it just makes every green 4-drop useless until it rotates out of standard, because it's better than basically all of them. Wicked Wolf might be the exception, and Vivian Arcbow Ranger is hanging in there. Alright, land. Alright. Well, I did keep a 1-lander, what can I say? We're gonna take down that questing beast one way or darn other. I'm telling you. That's it? Okay, cool. We'll throw it on the spitter, so if the spitter dies, we can equip to the champion. I'm happy to kill those druids for sure. But our opponent's at 6, and we've got a chance. If this dies, we can move Embercleave over to the champion and use Rimrock Knight to get in a bunch of damage. It seems like this little baby. Look at this thing sitting next to a fork, and then think about the fact that it's carrying an Embercleave. If you want, you know, to lull. If you want to lull everybody. How do we get there? How do we get there? The Lovestruck Beast is so much stats. That is a good draw. All right, let's see what we can do. We've got to pull this off. All right, the opponent steps up to make some blocks here. Let's think about it. If we use the Rimrock Knight on the Scorched Spitter, it hits for 1, 2, 3, 4. This goes down to 1. Then it hits for 4 again, which gets 3 through to the opponent. And 2 points from Bone Crusher Giant. I think that's how this works. 1, 2, 3. If they had thrown in the token... I don't think this would have worked. Ubel Star. Uebel Star? 962 rank. We're on the play. Let's get it. Let's get it. I had expected this deck to get easy wins. There are no easy wins. Winning with pump spells is hard work. Gonna spit at you. Gonna hack up a big fiery loogie. Gonna spit at you. Yeah. Fear the spit. Move it. Giant? No, I don't think so. I think I need to do better than Giant. More lands, more creatures. I would have loved to get Boulder Rush out of my hand right there. Trail of Crumbs, okay. Their draw is not speedy. I think do we only use a Boulder Rush here, or do we get the extra damage while we can and get the Scry? We're a long way from this Embercleave. Like a long way. Next turn, I can place Knight and sprint it if I draw a land. I think we save the Barge in. My mana might be tied up for a while, so I could really go on to regret this. But we'll always have a creature for a while, because Initiate will amass if it dies. And we do have some food to work our way through. And the opponent's straight up sacrificing now. Okay. I mean, it's a good enough turn, because we only deal 3 damage a turn, and now our opponent has an Oath of Kaya. Ugh. Alright. This is rough, because if we play the Rimrock Knight, we'll get Oath, so we don't want to do that. If we play the double Barge in here, we get in some extra damage. How much? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take our opponent to 6. They Oath of Kaya, they go to 9. We play Rimrock Knight, Samut Sprint, and we have probably Grim Initiate. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They go to 3, and what? We don't exactly top deck in increments of 3 perfectly. It's really tough to decide how aggressive to be on these plays. But unused mana and just sitting back and making the 1/1 is bad, and playing the 3/1 to eat the Oath of Kaya is bad. But I think we just play the 3/1 because we're going to lose something anyway. And what if the opponent does make a different play? I can't see it. I don't think they'll make a different play, but give them the opportunity. Give them the chance. This seems like too much heals, though. What's with all this life gain in this set when I'm playing red? Stop with that. I'm kidding, of course. You guys know I don't play red often. Another giant. Okay. We are pretty solid against the Doom Foretold, which I've got to think is our opponent's main plan. And I really do want the Bargains to be here for the cat, because I think this is going to be Cat Oven. Otherwise, why would they play Trail of Crumbs? They have to stop the bleeding, and they have a handful of cards. Let's see what they do. A goose. Okay. It's a good target. Another trail. Oh god. Oh god. Too much food. Make the food stop. Stomp, stomp. At least they don't have an oven, so I do get to keep my giant. Okay. Awkward hands are awkward, man. What can you do? Weird. They don't get any triggers from that. But maybe they just want to make sure they're using all their mana every single opportunity. It can make sense. Still a ways off of lethal because of this food. So, the Bargains, I'm still expecting a cat I have to go through. Vraska. Sure. Take out the Spitter, probably. You could plus the Vraska, try to outgain my little creatures. And the opponent's going to go for that. Yeah, card advantage is good. Life gain is good. Can't fault you there. And now an oven. Uh-huh. Everything going against us. There's a land off the top. It's a bit late. I could take out this Vraska. Or I could just make it so that if you plus this, you can't kill my Bone Crusher Giant. I think we need the Giant pretty badly. We could also try to save Samut's Sprint for if we draw another land. The opponent has a ton of life, so hitting them hard is going to be the only way to pull this off. Yeah, I know you're still there. You don't have to tell me. I think the more time, obviously the more time we give them with the double trail and the food, the worse things get. Okay, that's enough magic for me today. Maybe not. We could still land Embercleave. Not that that's particularly impressive when we can't pump our creatures. This hand has been about a land off of Glory for many, many turns. Here's a Spitta. Let's give you Hasties while the opponent's tapped out. There's a land on top. But is that the land we want? I guess so. It means if one of our creatures dies, we can still cleave. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bye-bye Vraska. And a little bit of face. Alright, I'm expecting a creature to die, but hopefully not 2. Although having Cleave on the battlefield isn't quite enough. And this deck must play Kaya's Wrath too, right? Okay, they're going Doom Foretold? Alright. Doom Foretold makes sense. We do have the Initiate to sacrifice, but they can fill their graveyard pretty well. It does mean we get Embercleave down, but we don't get to barge in, which was part of the plan. And now we have an Embercleave on a creature, which means the pump spells can be lethal if the opponent can't find the answer. They sack the food so they can use the Trail of Crumbs. They need more Oath of Kaya. They find Fabled Passage, that's a whiff. They find Golden Egg, that's life. Is it enough? Kaya's Wrath, though. That's game. That is definitely game. Salty TPK, $12.99. And we get our Fervent Champion draw for the first time. We also might see if we get a counter on our Runaway Steamkin, something we haven't done in some time. So with double Fervent Champion, I think we play out the Champ first, so we can get in 4 damage next turn. Our opponent is green, because why wouldn't you be green? Although, a turn 2 Season of Growth is a pretty good sign. It's a very tempo-negative play. Lets us hit the opponent extra hard. Tempting, right? Because the opponent probably can't remove this next turn. What they're likely to do is play a creature and then set up so they can play like Domri's Ambush or something. Ooh, that's a big boy. Okay. It's a lot of damage, and I think we're about to go a little bit crazy. Samu Sprint. This sets up the massive attack with the Embercleave. And I guess this is what you call the nuts. A draw I haven't exactly done with this deck at all. Alright, so if we remove all the counters, this goes back down to a 2. So the biggest hitting thing we can put this on is the Spitter. But if we go to the Champion, it just beats the Serpent really good. And if that's not scoop inducing, I'm not sure quite what is in this format, but we'll see what our opponent has. Barkai Troll. Yeah. I don't know what this green-white Season of Growth deck is, so congrats on about 1300 Mythic with it. I feel kind of bad. I just nut drew very intensely. Incredible nut draw, actually. And that's game.